Welcome to the Business of Apparel podcast. This is the place to learn how to start and scale your own apparel brand and fill it with loyal customers for years to come. I'm your host, Rachel Erickson, owner and CEO of Unmarked Street. I can't wait to share this episode with you. Welcome back to the Business of Apparel podcast. Today, we are starting to learn all of the different content that I want to teach you through this new Business of Apparel podcast series, where I reveal the secrets behind the billion-dollar apparel industry brands. And what we're going to get into today is really talking a lot about target customers. And so at first, I really want you, if you can, if you're not driving or you're not out for a walk listening to this podcast, and you're in a place where you can maybe close your eyes, I want you to do a little bit of visualization with me and see if you can kind of put yourself in the same place as I was when I learned about how important it is to have a single target customer. So visualize yourself in a fitting room. So we are about to do an apparel fitting. If you've never been in an apparel fitting room, you can almost kind of visualize like the way that movies try to portray like doing a bridal gown fitting, where someone is kind of standing in the middle of the room and everybody's kind of looking at them, pointing out what they like and what they don't like. Or maybe how even like movies or TV shows portray going to a tailor. You're kind of trying on some garments, they're taking some measurements, they're pinning a few things, marking with chalk. We genuinely do all of that in an apparel fitting. So if you can just kind of close your eyes and visualize whatever comes into your brain. If you are an apparel industry pro, you might be able to actually see your own company fit room. So imagine yourself there. And I want you to imagine that on our fit model, who is standing in the middle of the room, they have a brand new garment on and it fits super tight and super short. So we're seeing this garment kind of, it looks like it's maybe shrunk in the wash. It's on this fit model. And we start having a conversation in the room. And the designer, who is sitting in the front chair, starts talking about how the garment looks fantastic. It's exactly how he wanted it to turn out. He expected it to be really form fit of a garment. He wants it to be really short because when he goes out and rides his bike in this garment, he doesn't want to have anything folding over. He doesn't want to have anything kind of in the way while he's in that crouched riding position. Now imagine the technical designer coming up and starting to pin the garment, look at anything that has any wrinkles. We're drawing on the garment in places where we maybe want to move some seams. We're taking some measurements for how big the pockets are. Do they fit our phones? All of us are volunteering our phones to put into the pockets to make sure that they all fit. And then the product manager gets up and says, I'm sorry, designer, but my product brief says that this garment is going to be a loose fit jersey. We do not want it to be form fit to the body. This entire fit is wrong. The entire room kind of goes up in an uproar. The designer and the product manager are going back and forth. Who's right? What's right? Cyclists like everything to fit really tight, but not every cyclist. And so the product manager needs to be able to sell to a variety of different people. This was the exact situation that I was in when I was at my last corporate job when we were fitting cycling apparel. We were having a very hard time understanding who was our end customer and what did they want their cycling apparel to fit like. Were they the type of rider who wanted everything to be super form fit? Were they kind of the racer guy who wanted to be in training kits all the time? Like, I definitely want everything to be as aerodynamic as possible. I want it to maybe be as compressive as possible to make my muscles work just a little bit better. Or is it something that we hope to be able to sell to a wider audience? I mean, let's be real here. In the cycling world, the racer is not the widest audience that we have. And so there is a much bigger audience and customer base of people who would prefer not to wear their cycling kit as tight as humanly possible. They want a little bit of room to breathe. They're going to be moving in it, so they don't want it to be super constricting on their body. So who's right? In that scenario, both of them were right in different ways. There were definitely opportunities for that jersey to be perfect for a couple of different people. And this was the first time I ever heard our business leader speak up and say, well, who's the target customer for this piece? And I had been working in the industry for probably 15 years at this point, and I had never heard that question before, which is why I really think this is one of the most important lessons to teach first when we're learning the secrets behind the billion-dollar brands. Because the billion-dollar biggest brands out in the industry keep their eye on their target customer more than anybody else. They know exactly who they're selling to. They know exactly who they're speaking to in their marketing. That is very clear to them who their target customer is, and they don't lose sight of it. On top of that, they sometimes even have meetings on a regular basis. I will say, when I was at Specialized, for example, we were a billion-dollar company. On a regular basis, we were coming together as an entire company across the entire globe, discussing and reminding each other of who our target customer was so that we never lost sight of it. Now, Specialized is a unique example because it has so many different segments of it. You know, they make mountain bikes, they make road bikes, they used to make triathlon bikes. They don't do that anymore, but they also make cruiser bikes. Now they're making electric bikes. They make kids bikes. And so each of those segments might end up having its own target customer. But there was a really beautiful sense of knowing who that person was. And so we as an apparel team had a kind of a tough time really being able to define who was our ideal road customer. You know, there are different kinds of road bikes out there. There are some that are meant to make you go fast, and there are some that are meant to be really comfortable, and there are some that are meant to be able to allow beginners into our sport. So they're price point bikes. And so how did we as an apparel team define that customer when maybe we were trying to just make a single road line? This is one of the reasons, and I'm not going to go off on this tangent, but this is one of the reasons why we had a lot of trouble with how many SKUs we had in our line when I first took it over, because we were making so many different products for so many different segments and for so many different target customers. We were trying to serve that one for everybody kind of mentality. We not only were making mountain bike clothes to serve the mountain bike team, and road cycling clothes to serve the road team, and a lifestyle line to serve the electric bike and the cruiser bike team. We also then had segments within them of, okay, so in road, now we've got the racer, and we've got the weekend warrior, and we've got on the mountain bike side, same thing. We've got maybe the cross country team. We've also got a downhill team. So we had many, many target customers that we were constantly thinking about. But when it came down to it, we were really struggling to remember those people every time we got into the fit room. And so we ended up starting to lean toward whichever designer was in the room on that given day, whichever product manager was writing the brief for that specific style. And it started to become really muddy. We didn't have a very cohesive line. Some people in the company and some people on our team loved, styles A, B, and C because they were really racy. And then we would get into other people who really love styles X, Y, and Z because they were beautifully designed with really soft fabrics, but they fit a little bit looser. And so what we really needed to do, and so we ended up doing a complete offsite on this. We all packed up all of our notebooks, and we packed up a ton of Post-it notes, and we packed up those big pads that you can stick to the wall, and they're like these big sheets of notebook paper, and we were drawing all over them all day long. They kind of served as our whiteboards. And we ended up trying to come up with a more clear identification of who our target customers were so that we could stop having meetings like that. And one of the reasons why it was really important for us is because our team was struggling. We were struggling to find common ground. We were struggling to agree with each other. We were struggling to move forward in a single way. And so with all of those struggles that we were having on a regular basis, just as a very small team, we were looking for fast solutions or easy solutions to come back together and find ways to collaborate and work essentially as a team. And so by doing this, by having this on-site and by all hashing out, what do we think this person is? It was a really eye-opening experience for me to understand how important having that North Star, that one person that you're talking to, the one person that you're making product for, can be, not just for that customer, but also for internal teams and for being able to create a cohesive product line. So something that we did on that day was really unique. We ended up kind of going through all of the different segments, all of the different categories, and we named each of our different target customers for every segment that we felt was valid for us to have. We tried to weed out any that were maybe extraneous, because having too many is, again, you're selling to everybody, which means you're selling to nobody. You are not niching down to be able to stand for something and really sell something that you're proud of. You're just trying to make as much as you possibly can, hoping that, this piece or that piece gets caught by this type of person, and then these other pieces over here get caught by somebody else. Essentially, if you can aspire to inspire one single person when you're making clothes, you'll be surprised how many other people outside will look in and also be inspired by what you've done. And then they will come shop your apparel line as well. So when I started my own company, Unmarked Street, when I left Specialized and I started my own brand, I totally forgot all of this amazing advice. And I went ahead and I just decided that I was going to offer my services to anybody and everybody. I didn't have a single person in mind. And now I think a lot of us get started this way as we're entrepreneurs and we're starting small businesses, right? Like, we're excited to get any wins. We're excited to bring in any business. Any money that we're making is a plus. And so being able to kind of go out and reach out to my entire network, I didn't care what kind of brand they had. I didn't care what kind of product they were making. I just wanted to be able to help. I knew that I had this innate talent to be able to fit clothes. Clothes kind of speak to me. They tell me what they need in the way of pattern adjustments so that they fit just right to the body. And I wanted to be able to offer that to anybody and everybody. We saw some success with that at first. Just being able to go out and offer my services in kind of that blanket way was successful. However, it stopped being successful after a period of me really doing that for a while. So after about 6 months, it started to become really apparent that I was not having a clear message. When I was reaching out to people, it was not very clear to them what it was that I was trying to offer, because I didn't even know what it was that I really wanted to do. I was just, what do you need? I'm here to help. And again, that was trying to sell to everybody and do everything instead of saying, I am an expert at fitting performance apparel on the body in motion. I am an expert at that. I am one of the best in the industry. I've had people come work with me at different brands just so that they can work with me because of my reputation in doing that. So if that is my bread and butter and I have so much passion for it, you could wake me up at 2:00 in the morning and ask me to run a performance apparel fitting, and I would do it with a smile on my face because I love it so much. So how do I figure out how to curate that offering alongside what I know my clients need in the way of business growth? So when we started Unmarked Street, ironically, my brand managers, who are actually my brother-in-law and my sister, they are amazing creative directors at corporate companies in the Cincinnati area, and they were willing to help me and kind of put my brand together. And they actually came up with the saying, the intersection of excellent fit and effective brand growth. And I don't even think understand how important that tagline was going to be for me and my brand when they first created it for me. I used it. I really liked it. It spoke to me for sure. But when I really started to hone in on the kind of offers that I wanted to give and who my target customer was, who do I really want to be working with out in the industry? What do I want them to stand for? What values do I have that I want to have in common with this person? That tagline, the intersection of excellent fit and effective brand growth, became exactly what I wanted to be able to offer to my clients. So now we go into fittings and I run the fittings and we have excellent fit. We come out 1-2 protos and we're seeing excellent results. The team that I've hired is above and beyond when it comes to fittings. I've hired some of the best in the industry to back me up so that if I either can't be there or if your account is being managed by them, they are just as talented in this area that I am. So fit has become the center of everything that we do. And the reason for that is because for fit, if your garments fit your customers, they are sized appropriately, and your grade rules and your body size chart online all align just right, you are going to build loyal customers for years and years. I mean, have you ever bought a garment that you're like, this fits me so well. I want to buy it in every single color and I hope it never goes away. I hope I can buy it when I start to get holes in these ones. And it always exists because it is just going to be my favorite piece of garment. You're going to go back to that brand over and over again because you trust them now all of a sudden. Their fit is something that you really admire, something that you really love. And so when you think about that for your brand, honing in on excellent fit is one of the most important things, in my opinion, that you can do. And then my background in knowing what is important in the apparel industry and what propels us forward for business growth and the results that I've been able to get with my clients and at the corporate level allow me to then help you also with effective brand growth. And so those end up becoming my pillars. That's what Unmarked Street does for its clients. We come in and we do that work for you. We take it off of your plate and you get to go be the CEO that you need to be, or go be the best industry professional that you possibly can while we are behind the scenes taking care of all of that work for you. So getting down to the nitty gritty and understanding that I also needed to work on who my target customer was, I went down and I actually created this little exercise for myself. So I went through a list of different psychographics and demographics. And in the Business of Apparel course that is going to be launching, we will go really deep into the difference between demographics and psychographics. But if you look them up online, you can probably get a great list of those. And I just started listing them out, and then I would answer each question. Where did my target customer go to school? What kind of education do they have? What kind of a job do they have? What kind of money are they making? What hobbies do they like to do? Do they have any kids? Do they have any pets? Where do they live? What do they like to do on the weekends? These are the types of things that help really create a visualization, a picture in your mind of who this person exactly is. Once I had this entire bio kind of written out, I had this whole list of all of these different elements of this person, I wrote a short paragraph that just described her. And so now I have that paragraph and it sits on my vision board because I am able to keep her in my mind's eye all the time. So when I'm creating videos or when I am speaking to an audience or when I am thinking about a new service to maybe offer, what is something else that I could help her with? I'm thinking about her all the time. I've also named her. Her name is Kara. So Kara is my target customer. She's the person that I think about all the time. Her and her brand are more important to me sometimes even than my own brand. And then last but not least, I actually went and searched some stock footage to find a picture of what I thought Kara might look like. And so Kara's picture and Kara's bio sit on my vision board. She keeps me on track all the time for making the right decisions for my brand. And it just really helps keep everything clear for me and my team. So if you continue to find yourself in a situation where personal opinions and different thoughts are coming into the room, either for line review meetings or for fittings, or even just on a daily basis, like what are we going to do with this zipper trim? Like, do we want it to be a number 3 or a number 5? Sometimes people have really strong opinions about those things. And if you can try to figure out not what you as an individual on this team want, but what would my target customer want in the way of the size of a zipper? Maybe, they have small hands. Maybe they're a small person and you've designed and you've thought about them that way. And so they need to have a bigger zipper pull because that's going to help them catch the zipper on whatever activity they're doing. I don't know. I'm making things up here, but I'm just trying to give you great examples of why having a certain person in mind is really important. And I will say that I have run into this quite a few times as a small business owner and as an entrepreneur, as I got more and more into video marketing and media training that I've gone through over the last couple of years. They definitely taught me over and over again, you're speaking to one person. And so you are making product for one person. You are making decisions for one person. You are trying to fill the closet of this one person who wants to own every single garment that you make, because not only are they your ideal person, but you are also their ideal brand. So when you think about it that way too, you can start to visualize how this cohesion between these two elements are going to start to move forward and how they're going to work. I really encourage you to go out and maybe look up some demographics and psychographics and figure out if there's a way for you to list who those people are or what those attributes are of that person.
If you can then bring that back to your team and see if they can agree with all of that and really dedicate themselves to creating this target customer, this could be something your team has never done before. And so this could be a great value add to bring to the table and add so much information to be able to make those solid decisions and help get your team on the same page for everything that you're doing. Take the easy road. Seriously, like make this easy on yourself. When you know who that person is, a lot of those hard decisions become easier. Trust me, I have done this both at the corporate level and now in my own business. And every time that we went through this exercise, it made things easier. So I am excited to hear how this went for you. I would love to hear all about your target customer. If you want to share with me, you can put it in the comments of this show. We ask that if you would like to write a review for the podcast, that you please do so. We are very honored by all of those of you who have been giving us reviews and giving us stars. So thank you for that. And I will see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Business of Apparel podcast. I would so appreciate hearing your thoughts on the show. And if you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it with them. My biggest desire is to help other apparel professionals understand the nuances of our industry so we can all work toward making better product for a better world. If you would like to connect further, I'd love to invite you to send me a message through my website, unmarkstreet.com, where I do weekly trainings through my video channel, a monthly newsletter, and offer so many resources to help you start and scale a profitable apparel brand.